Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's always great to have you along. Elon Musk and Donald Trump. This is a big story. This is heating up. Trump says Doge is a monster that may go back and eat Elon. This is just heating up. So CNN notes here, this didn't even last a month, the truce between the two of them. And we talked about this on the radio show this morning, Elon Musk coming out against the big, beautiful bill. And, you know, part of it we really didn't touch on all that much is him talking about forming an America party. That he will form another party, the America Party. You know, and I thought, you know, Donald Trump really has done a lot to bring Democrats into the Republican Party. I don't know how much of a following Elon Musk has. I think I'll have to leave that to you. Some of you may have a better idea, but take a look at this. Tesla's stock tumbled 7% after losing 2% yesterday, missing out on the broader stock market gains that sent the S&P 500 and NASDAQ to record highs. Tesla shareholders have been very sensitive to the Musk-Trump spat, nervous that Trump may make good on his threat to dissolve contracts with SpaceX or Tesla. Now, I would listen very closely. This is where I have just thought, you know, Elon Musk, powerful guy. He's got a lot of money. Elon Musk is a powerful guy. He's not president of the United States powerful. I mean, we'll see. I don't know that putting himself at odds with Trump and Trump's agenda, I'll have to leave it to you. I'm curious to see feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section as to, you know, what you're thinking and how you're viewing that. But Elon Musk is taking a bit of a pummeling. Excuse my cough. So that continues to be a big story. This morning, my coughing has got a little bit worse recently, and I wonder if it's something beyond my meds. I think that is causing that. Let's go to the president's True Social account. New poll: anybody I endorse beats Thomas Massie of Kentucky by 25 points. Get ready. Massie is a very bad guy. Now, Massie is a Republican from Kentucky. And Trump saying, new poll, anybody I endorse beats Thomas Massie by 25 points. That means Trump endorsement is likely. But Trump shares a lot of stories. Here's another one from RSB Network. America is booming. GE Appliances will move $490 million in production to the United States from China. Will add 800 jobs to the United States. You are seeing company after company that is corporation after corporation that has been doing this, moving their jobs from China or Mexico or elsewhere into the United States. And here is yet another one. It's just absolutely amazing. And I don't think any of that would be happening were it not for President Trump. So a lot of this, the arguments over the big beautiful bill, and we talked about this at length on the radio show this morning. So I'm not going to revisit a lot of that stuff, but that really is. Kathy asks if Rand Paul is from Kentucky. Yeah, he is. He is absolutely correct. There are other stories. The president and this Democrat socialist that is running for mayor of New York City. So Trump this morning, Zoran Mamdani is his name. I have trouble with that pronunciation. Mamdani is his name. And so the president asked about him this morning. What happens if he becomes the mayor of New York? Trump, of course, has got a, history in New York himself. And so the president this morning saying, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with him because he has to go right through this building to get his money. Don't worry, he's not going to run away with anything, he said. And he blasted him as a pure, true communist, Trump says. Now, before you start rolling your eyes, Breitbart has got a piece today about Mamdani and some of the comments that he has made in recent years. And the president is not just going off the deep end when he says this stuff. So the president was on his way down to Florida for a few hours, flying down to Florida, taking a look at Alcatraz, and then right back to Washington to continue to be in Washington for the debate over the big, beautiful bill. But the Trumpster saying, I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Now we have a communist. He wants to operate the grocery stores, the department stores, Trump said of this guy. And he is not wrong. So this recently resurfaced video of Mamdani at the 2021 Young Democratic Socialists of America conference showed him being adamant about seizing the means of production. That's right out of Karl Marx, man. That is right out of Karl Marx. I mean, so the president is not exaggerating as he is saying these things. Now, again, I don't want to get too worked up. New York Post has spent an incredible amount of time on this guy. Here's Breitbart. Mamdani end goal is seizing the means of production. So he said it in 2021. And of course, there's a video. Here it is.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward.
I'm just blown away. Where does this stuff come from?
That they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that.
Well, this goes on for minutes, and I'm not going to subject you to the whole thing. Again, if you want to see this is a story at Breitbart. The end goal is seizing the means of production, and as this poster said, this is not terrible AI. This is him. The end goal of seizing the means of production. So that literally, I mean, comes out of Karl Marx. And as Breitbart notices or mentions here, seizing the means of production, cornerstone of Marxist and communist thought. So this is going to get worse. And he was asked about this. Trump called you a communist. Are you a communist? This was on NBC over the weekend.
Well, let me ask you about what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has had to say. He's had a lot to say about your campaign. He called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance to respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a
Why
communist?
is this guy on Meet the
And
Press?
I've already had to start to get used to the fact that the president will talk about how I look, how I sound, where I'm from, who I am, ultimately because he wants to distract from what I'm fighting for. And I'm fighting for the very working people that he ran a campaign to empower that he has since then betrayed. And when we talk about my politics, you know, I call myself a democratic socialist in many ways inspired by the words of Dr. King from decades ago, who said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children.
Oh, Dr. King,
And as
that's
income
who he's
inequality has
modeling
declined
himself
nationwide,
after,
it has
eh?
increased in New York City. And ultimately, what we need is a city where every single person can thrive.
All right.
Oh, this guy is bad news, man. This guy is absolutely bad news. And of course, Kristen Welker of, Meet the Press allows him to get away with that because, of course, they're not going to challenge this. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. All right, now let's move into a few other things. I got a few other stories I'm going to touch on fairly briefly here this morning. New York Post is my go-to this morning. There are a lot of great stories at the New York Post. They cover a lot of, if you want a good overview of things that are happening nationally around the country, there's, in my opinion, nobody better than the New York Post. James Cameron is blasting Oppenheimer as a moral cop-out. James Cameron's one of those people I wish would shut his damn mouth. Seriously, I liked him a lot better before he started speaking. So he's going after, now I've not seen Oppenheimer. I wanted to watch it. It won an Oscar, the film did. And he said it's a moral cop-out on the topic of nuclear war. So he is directing a film based on an upcoming book, The Ghosts of Hiroshima. And so he was asked if he was surprised about the success of Oppenheimer. And he said, it's interesting what he stayed away from. I love the filmmaking, but I did feel it was a bit of a moral cop-out because it's not like Oppenheimer didn't know the effects. And then he goes on, which is why I'm mentioning this. There's one brief scene in the film where we see, I don't like to criticize another filmmaker's film, but of course he's going to go ahead and do it anyway. Oh, that is so disingenuous, Cameron. That is so disingenuous. I don't like criticizing another filmmaker's film, but then you go ahead and do it anyway. People preface that like if you're going to make a statement, make a bold statement. Just make it bold. Just say, just criticize it. Just do it. And then own it and be unapologetic for what you believe in. That kind of crap just drives me absolutely crazy. So he felt it dodged the subject. And then he goes on to say, let me get to this. Because there was one comment in particular. Here it is, right at the end of this story. I don't want to get into the politics of it. You're talking about the bomb. No, we're talking about the Hiroshima bomb. I don't want to get into the politics of it. Should it have been dropped? Should they have done it? And, all the bad things Japan did to warrant it or any kind of moralizing and politicizing. No, of course you don't want to moralize. You have to moralize. The fact of the matter is that dropping those bombs saved lives. That's what it boils down to. Saved lives. Harry Truman was faced with an incredibly tough decision. I mean, and here is James Cameron now, decades after the fact. Oh, I don't want to get into the politics. You have to, or you simply don't understand it. I mean, if you don't get into the politics of that, then how in the hell can you understand what it is you're making a film about? That just blows my mind. And I think the more James Cameron speaks, the less likely I certainly am to give a crap about anything he's working on. Because if that's the way that he's approaching it, it's crazy. Now, this is pretty incredible. And these are the kinds of gets me thinking. Ken Griffin scooped up an Emancipation Proclamation that was actually signed by Abraham Lincoln. How much did he pay for it? Wow. $13.7 million, excuse me, $18.1 million that Ken Griffin spent on items signed by Abraham Lincoln. Among them, a rare handwritten copy of the 13th Amendment for $13.7 million. Pretty incredible. So the single sheet marked the formal abolition of slavery in the United States. It's one of only 4 copies known to remain in private hands. And that's pretty crazy. And there it is. And you can see it. And there's Lincoln's signature across it. Can you imagine that? These are the kinds of things that always get me thinking, you know, if money were no object, what are the kinds of things then that you would purchase? If money were to, if you had the means, money were no object, what are things, whether they're pieces of history, American history, or film history, or whatever they might be, what might those things be? I would, that always intrigues me. And I'm curious, you know, what things speak to you. But that's pretty incredible to have a piece of parchment like that was actually signed by Abraham Lincoln. That would be absolutely incredible. And we're going to leave it there for today. You made it to the end of the video. So congratulations, my friend. You are part of my gallery of champions. Special thanks to the Bunker Brigade here each and every day. We'll leave it there for today. I do want to remind you that on Friday, no Greg Belfrage show on Friday, 4th of July holiday, and then I'm on vacation all next week. So whether or not I'm actually going to do anything on, I don't know that we'll do the 4th hour. I'm of 2 minds about it. Part of it, me, is saying, yeah, I would enjoy doing it. And then right up until the point that I'm having to set it up at home and, you know, get everything set up and doing it and check the news. And one of the reasons I love vacation, man, it's a break from the news. It is a break from the news, which gets to be a little bit heavy for me at times. So probably won't be doing any 4th hour next week, but I'm glad to have you along this morning. Let's leave it there for today. Until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.